Hey, anime fans. Welcome back to Anime Stark. We're back with Deku's Cafe and Harem Part 2, the sequel you've been waiting for. Ready for more surprises? Let's dive in. At 5 in the morning, with UA in session, Kendo couldn't stop by his morning coffee. He had to come a bit later, which meant his morning chats would have to wait. He honestly didn't expect anyone to show up so early. It was something only a few people did. Izuku, eh? Still, the bell rang, indicating someone had entered. Welcome to Eraserhead. The dark-haired man from the night before had arrived, just as tired as the day before. Aizawa, being this early, I'm not a hero, I'm just Aizawa, so call me that. He walked to the counter and sat down, hoping to find the cat. Izuku, I understand. He had to contain his excitement as best as he could. What can I get you? The dark-haired man was looking around, searching for the cat. Aizawa, give me a strong coffee. I need to stay awake for a long time today. The freckled guy nodded and went to prepare the coffee. By the way, where's the cat? Izuku, Gayeta is in the kitchen, she likes to sleep near the oven when I'm baking cookies. He smiled, watching his cat stretch before curling up like a ball of fur. Aizawa, I see. He surveyed the place and the young man who was serving him. It seemed a bit crazy for someone so young to have all this. He should be studying or learning somewhere else, making friends and going out. He needed to understand the logic behind this guy. Izuku, here you go. He placed the coffee cup and smiled. Would you like something to go with it? Aizawa, for now, I'm good. He took a sip of coffee and didn't hesitate to ask. Hey kid, it might be a bad idea, but he couldn't leave with that bad feeling about this place. Izuku, yes? The serious look from the hero had him confused. Aizawa, why are you here? The green-haired boy didn't fully understand. Why are you working here instead of sleeping at this hour? You shouldn't be working, you should be having fun and stuff. The green-haired boy looked down, feeling tense. I touched a sensitive topic, that's what he wanted to achieve. Izuku, I study at night, it's easier online, and I'm close to finishing my studies. He wasn't foolish, that much was clear to the dark-haired man. Besides, this is what I've always wanted, a cafe to see the smiles my desserts bring, it's calming. His tone of voice revealed that it wasn't the whole story. Aizawa, I see. He wouldn't push further, that was enough. Izuku, this cafe is everything I have, and if anything were to happen, he didn't want to think about it, but the possibility of a villain coming and destroying all his hard work was there. He wouldn't know what to do in that case. Aizawa, I understand. It was somewhat premeditated, but he'd do it. In that case, he took out a piece of paper and a pen from his pocket and wrote something down. Call if you have any problems. He handed the paper to the boy, who stood there still. Izuku, are you sure about this? I mean, I'm a fan, and giving your number to a fan can be risky. He didn't intend to do anything wrong, but still. Aizawa, you're smart enough to run a cafe, do you really doubt your ability to use my number? The green-haired boy let out a nervous laugh. Izuku, thanks for the vote of confidence. At least now he had another safety measure for his place, beyond the police and the cafe's insurance. After Eraserhead's coffee, both Kyoka and Kendo came for their morning drinks. They chatted for a while and then headed to UA. Izuku still didn't dare to warn them about Bakugo and his obsession with being number one in everything. He didn't want to burst their bubble of happiness due to an explosive blonde. It was a bad decision, as Kyoka arrived in the afternoon with a brown-haired girl with a band-aid on her cheek. They looked completely beaten up, at least the brown-haired girl did. From what Izuku could deduce, someone had messed with her and left her injured. Kyoka, Izuku, give me 2 coffees and 2 slices of strawberry cake, please. The green-haired guy nodded and went to the kitchen. I can't believe that idiot attacked like that, they both almost died. She sighed, trying to calm down. Oh Chako, it surprised me too. Thanks to Shiozaki-san, I survived. She used her vine hair to shield us from the explosion. Kyoka took both of them in her hair. Kyoka, it surprises me if that moron stays. He attacked to kill. The green-haired guy tensed when he returned with their order. Izuku, it was a tough day, I can say that. The purple-haired girl nodded as she sipped her coffee. Kyoka, we have an idiot with an inflated ego as our classmate. The freckled guy confirmed whom she was talking about. Yesterday, he seemed like an idiot when he acted like he's the king of the place just because he passed some tests. He's utterly annoying. She complained to the green-haired guy, knowing he always had something good to say. Oh, by the way, let me introduce you to Uraka, she's a classmate. The brown-haired girl smiled at the green-haired guy, who snapped out of his mental debate. Izuku, nice to meet you, Uraka-san. The girl sipped her coffee and instantly brightened up. Kyoka-san, that guy, the girl seemed a bit angry. Is he a blonde who reminds you of a chihuahua? Oh Chako, you hit the mark. She couldn't believe the comparison. Kyoka, it's Izuku, the coffee master. She introduced the green-haired guy as a great being of light. How do you know him? The freckled guy sighed. Izuku, let's just say we have a history. He must have found it difficult to talk, given how tense he was. He's a complete idiot who only cares about being the best, regardless of crushing others to achieve it. The girls agreed with him. I even think that's what makes him so airheaded that he reaches the level of irrationality. Oh Chako, he does seem like someone with a lot of problems. She didn't want to get close and talk to that walking bomb. Izuku, oh no, he fell when he was little, and since then, he's been an idiot. He explained, going to attend to other customers. Kyoka, well, now I'm curious, the green-haired guy wasn't the type to insult people just like that. He was, in fact, the most positive and calm person she knew. So for him to speak like that about someone, it couldn't be good. Oh Chako, this cake is delicious, she spoke with her mouth full of cake, and her friend looked a bit surprised. Kyoka, try to chew, Uraka. The girl smiled and continued eating. Oh Chako, it's so good, she sipped some coffee and got excited again. This is really good. Now I understand why this lifts your spirits, Jiro-san. Kyoka, and you haven't even seen, she looked around and spotted the cat. Gietta, she said melodically, and the cat, who was on her shelf, woke up. Oh Chako, ah, a kitty. This only confirmed that this was the best cafe in the world. Meow, the cat jumped a couple of times and reached the counter, looking at the purple-haired girl and the brown-haired girl. Kyoka, Uraka, let me introduce you to Glazed Gietta, the gluttonous cat. The girl didn't hesitate to pick it up. Oh Chako, hello, the cat sniffed the air, a sweet scent that it loved. Meow, it escaped from the girl's hands and sat on her lap, sniffing even more. Oh Chako, he's so cute, she couldn't resist petting the cat, which started purring. She had found the best place in the world. A new day began, and it was evident by the crowd heading towards UA. Many news trucks were on their way there, and it wasn't hard to guess why. The word had quickly spread about their new teacher, none other than the symbol of peace. It seemed someone had let slip some information, and now it was certain that All Might was at UA, guiding the future heroes. Of course, Izuku contacted Kyoka and Kendo to advise them not to come to the cafe but to go directly to their classes, ignoring all the reporters. They didn't need that kind of pressure in their first year. Many reporters flocked to the scene, ignoring everything, including a pale, hooded figure who observed the place with some excitement. He just wanted to take a look at the place and wait for the right moment to execute his plan, so that UA would realize how weak their defenses were. But he didn't want to wait too long, even if that was his desire. He wasn't a very patient person. He was the type to go straight into action with a well-formed plan, though he knew what his next move should be. So, to avoid temptation, he stepped back, not too far, waiting for the right moment of the day. He didn't wander around much since UA was in a very defensible location, and there were few places of interest nearby. There was no arcade or an incredible place to pass the time. However, he noticed a sign with a mouse wearing a mask and a menu on the side of the door, which piqued his curiosity. He took a closer look at the place and found that it wasn't so bad. It was below his usual standards, but he could spend some time there. The bell rang, and immediately, all eyes turned to the hooded stranger who had entered. Izuku had only noticed him slightly while attending to a customer and receiving payment from another, but he was aware of the danger this client posed. He raised every red flag in his head. Even so, he decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Izuku, welcome to the heroic mouse. After years of being Bakugo's punching bag, Izuku had developed an incredible intuition for danger, and this guy in front of him raised more red flags than he could count. Still, he decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Nice place, a bit simple and honestly quite childish for his taste, but bearable, after all. Hooded figure, thank you very much. He raised his notebook, trying to hide his nerves as much as possible. What would you like to order? Hooded figure, something strong if you can. He looked at Izuku as he wrote something in his notebook with a surprisingly large and naive smile. Smiles like that were pleasant to break and shatter. Izuku, all right, I know what you need. He walked to the kitchen, preparing a plan in case something went wrong. He wasn't prejudiced, but the atmosphere around this customer was making his hair stand on end. Something strong to start. He would serve the strongest drink he had right away. It took a while, but the hooded figure was served a glass with a highly caricatured hero on it. It amused him more than it should have, as it was one of the few places related to heroes that created something so degrading. Respect could override such a banal form of humor. Izuku, what's this? He doubted the young man, and his innocent smile made him wonder about the drink in front of him. Izuku, a Mike-manade, the strongest one I have. The guy looked at the drink with doubts. It'll make you shout like Present Mike, 100% guaranteed. The guy took the glass and inspected the lemonade. Hooded figure, maybe I went a bit too far with this. He quickly regretted this idea and set the lemonade aside. Do you have something less flashy? Izuku, regular lemonade, shakes, coffee, water. The mysterious guy thought for a moment, realizing these weren't the options he expected. Hooded figure, a coffee, please. The guy nodded and went to prepare it, returning more quickly this time. Izuku, here you go. Would you like something to go with it? The mysterious figure declined. Customer, hey, Izuku, can you turn up the news? One of the customers requested, and, of course, the freckled guy did just that, playing a report about UA. Hooded figure, UA, he murmured. Izuku, they've been going on about it all morning. Honestly, it gets tiring, he commented to the air, fully aware of what he had said about the guy. Customer, aren't you a fan of heroes? It would be quite ironic since he was working in a hero-themed cafe. Izuku, I am a fan of heroes, but constantly watching them can be exhausting. It wasn't his case, but maybe he could get something out of this conversation. Not everything in life revolves around heroes, you know? Hooded figure, I say that everything does revolve around heroes. He was about to start a debate. After all, everything did revolve around them because if they didn't exist, there would be so many problems. Izuku, it may seem that way, but in reality, no. The hooded figure clenched his teeth in anger. That was not a good sign, and Izuku discreetly started a call with the only safe contact he had at that moment. Izuku, while they are a recurring topic, it's not the center of everything. This only seemed to enrage the mysterious guy more. Hooded figure, heroes solve disasters and capture villains trying to destroy everyone day by day. They aren't the center of everything? He challenged the freckled guy. Izuku, that's quite true. But regardless of heroes or not, there will always be someone willing to harm innocent people. That's something that has always existed, and because it's such a recurring topic, it's easy to believe that everything revolves around it. But there are many other things unrelated to heroes that are extremely interesting, like movies, manga, series, and so many other things around the world. There are so many that it's hard to list them all. He explained, increasing the guy's anger. Hooded figure, if there's a world where the strong can rule over the weak, what would you say? The freckled guy opened his eyes in surprise. He detailed his evil plan. Izuku, then everything would be worse. He revealed to the guy, who looked at him with hostility. The weak wouldn't be able to progress, especially those without any quirk. Hooded figure, if there's a world where the strong can rule over the weak, what would you say? The freckled guy opened his eyes in surprise. He detailed his evil plan. Izuku, then everything would be worse. He revealed to the guy, who looked at him with hostility. The weak wouldn't be able to progress, especially those without any quirk. Hooded figure, you're not a pleasant kid. If you can't admit that it would be a better world, then, he raised his hand to touch the freckled guy's face with his 5 fingers. Die in this filthy world. The world seemed to slow down for Izuku as he watched those battered fingers move slowly towards his face. He could only close his eyes to avoid whatever was coming, and moments later, everything went dark. Izuku, eh? He opened his eyes in terror, looking at Aizawa subduing the guy. Eraserhead. Aizawa, it was a good strategy, kid, he had a good hold on the guy to keep him from moving. I think you and I need to talk. The guy glared at the hero and then at the freckled boy, as if it hadn't been for him. The teacher hurried out of the classroom as soon as he received a call, leaving everyone confused. Moments later, their teacher, Cementos, arrived to calm them down, explaining that there was a minor issue. Nonetheless, the election for president and vice president continued, and Miss Yaoyorozu became the president, with Kyoka as the vice president. Kyoka challenged the human bomb who wanted a recount and was quite upset about not becoming the leader, especially because she didn't receive a single vote. In the end, this was the most notable event of the school day. Bakugo futilely followed Yaoyorozu, trying to make her step down in favor of the blonde boy. Fortunately, the black-haired girl was always by her vice president's side, acting as an escort that Bakugo couldn't surpass. Instead, he incited fights and found himself in the principal's office for the second time in 2 days, a rapid rise in notoriety, but in a negative way. Momo, wow, that was stressful. She sighed, finally free from Bakugo's persistence. Kyoka, tell me about it. I hoped he would stop after falling to the ground and losing all feeling in his legs. She clearly wasn't afraid of Bakugo and had no qualms about standing up to him. Oh Chako, come on, let's not talk about that. Let's go get something to drink to calm down. She suggested to her friends. Kyoka, I'm fine with that, but I'm not sure if Yamomo can. Both of them looked at their black-haired friend, who thought for a moment. Momo, I don't have much to do today, so I can call my driver and tell him to come a bit later. I'm excited about this, it's my first time going out with friends. She was thrilled. Kyoka, we need one more person before we go. She smiled at the puzzled black-haired girl. Kendo, Kyoka-san, the red-haired girl ran excitedly toward the 3 girls. Kyoka, Kendo, the red-haired girl squeezed the purple-haired girl in a strong hug. Kendo, you won't believe what happened today, it's so incredible that. The purple-haired girl pulled away from the hug and looked at her. Kyoka, save it for the broccoli mutant. The girl seemed to calm down a bit. By the way, let me introduce you to Uraka Ochako and Yaoyorozu Momo, they're my friends. The red-haired girl looked at both of them, who were quite surprised by this display of affection for the purple-haired girl. Kendo, hello, I'm Itsuka Kendo, nice to meet you. She introduced herself to both of them. Momo, the pleasure is ours. She acted friendly as usual. Sorry for the question, but who were you talking about with Jiro-san? Kyoka, to the place we're going. The red-haired girl looked at her. Come on, we have a lot to talk about, and I'm sure he wants to hear us. Kendo, sounds perfect to me. She walked to lead the way and be the first to arrive to talk to her friend. It wasn't a very long journey for any of them. It was literally 1 street away, and during the trip, they had time to get to know the red-haired girl from Class B better. She turned out to be as pleasant as they had hoped. Kendo, wait until you try the coffee, it's amazing. She obviously wanted them to taste this delight. Kyoka, well, if you don't like coffee, there are plenty of other drinks, so you'll find something to enjoy. Both of them stopped as they saw a couple of police officers on the scene, and even more, the green-haired boy talking to his teacher. Izuku, she ran towards the boy, just like the red-haired girl did. Momo, eh? Wait, you guys, she followed the girls. Oh Chako, wait, too. Yaoyorozu-san. She also ran to catch up with her friends. Izuku, Both the teacher and the green-haired boy looked at the quartet of girls. Kyoka-san, Kendo-san, and Uraka-san, he smiled at the girls, who seemed distressed. And this? I'm sorry, I don't have the pleasure of knowing you. He looked at the black-haired girl. Momo, Yaoyorozu Momo. She responded, to which the boy nodded. Izuku, Midoriya Izuku, a pleasure. He wanted to continue chatting when the purple-haired girl spoke. Kyoka, what the heck is going on here? Why are there police at the cafe? She got nervous. Izuku, oh, yes, you see, he didn't know how to explain this. Aizawa, Midoriya detected a villain and held him in the cafe until we arrived to apprehend him. The teacher explained. Momo, is that why the teacher left? The green-haired boy nodded. Kendo, but you're okay, right, Midoriya-san? The green-haired boy nodded. Izuku, I kept him talking while Eraserhead arrived. I was afraid he might do something. They're just reviewing the security footage, and they'll leave after. I'm sorry that you can't enjoy your drinks as quickly today. Both girls sighed while the other two looked somewhat confused. Oh Chako, I think there's something more pressing here, Midoriya-san, she said with a bit of humor. Izuku, in any case, I can bring you something while you finish up here, if you don't mind standing. Kyoka, you're such an idiot sometimes. You should be more concerned about yourself, the green-haired boy let out a chuckle. Izuku, I'm sorry to scare you, that wasn't my intention. Kendo, it doesn't matter, you're fine, and that's what matters. It took Izuku a bit longer than he had expected, but with things resolved, he cleaned up a bit so they could enjoy their time in peace. Fortunately, no customers were injured, and the hero arrived quickly. Izuku, now that everything's clean, I'll serve you. He went to the kitchen to get everything. A black coffee for Kendo-san, a midnight shake for Kyoka-san, a latte for Uraka-san. With the 3 drinks ready, he went to the bar and placed the tray in front of them. What would you like to drink, Yaoyorozu-san? Momo, do you have tea? She asked politely. Izuku, sure, any preferences? The girl thought for a moment, she wasn't sure what to choose. Momo, I feel like having chamomile. The green-haired boy nodded and went to the kitchen. This place is quite impressive. Very relaxing, this was the kind of place she loved. Oh Chaco, and you haven't even met Gietta yet. She drank her coffee with great pleasure. Kendo, hey, where's Gietta? She looked around the usual spots where the cat liked to hang out but couldn't find him. Izuku, on your head, he shouted from the kitchen, and the four looked up. On top of a fake lamp, they could see a tail and a paw. Kyoka, Gietta, the noise woke up the cat, who stretched before jumping to another lamp and then to his shelf before coming down to the bar. Meow. He looked at the four girls, smelling something new. Kendo, Yaoyorozu-san, let us introduce you to, the black-haired girl picked up the kitten, stunned. Momo, oh my, it's so cute, she hugged the cat and rubbed her cheek against him. Hello, little one. Meow, feeling the gentle movement on his whiskers was pleasant, so he licked her cheek amiably. Momo, don't do that, it tickles. Ha ha ha, she moved the cat a little further, but he continued to sniff her. You're so cute, little Gietta. She placed the cat on the bar, and he took the opportunity to jump onto the black-haired girl's lap. Momo, aw. She was melting with cuteness. Izuku, Gietta is the other employee of the place and is extremely affectionate. He looked at the cat with a touch of jealousy as the cat settled in comfortably. Anyway, here's your tea. He placed the drink in front of the girl, who took it elegantly. Momo, thank you very much, she took a sip and noticed the sweetness. Just the way I like it. Izuku, I'm glad you like it, Yaoyorozu-san. He looked at Kendo, who was practically bursting with excitement. Did something happen today, Kendo-san? Kendo, I'm the president of my class, she revealed with joy. Izuku, congratulations. He said, ignoring the surprised looks of the other three girls. Kyoka, you too? The red-haired girl looked at her in surprise. Kendo, Kyoka-san too? She looked at her with great enthusiasm. Momo, well, actually, it's me, hee hee, the red-haired girl looked at her with excitement. Jiro-san is my vice president. Oh Chaco, the only one brave enough to challenge Bakugo, she murmured, and the freckled boy looked at her with great respect. The day had been extremely stressful. Fortunately, his most loyal customers stayed for a while, chatting among themselves and showering Gietta with affection. After a few hours in the hands of those four girls, the cat finally left, allowing him to rest, although he remained somewhat stressed about not being able to find an employee for his shop. There was no one willing to accept such meager pay for just half a day's work. Tonight, he didn't want to think about it anymore. After closing his cafe and with the cat in his jacket, he headed home to rest. Izuku, I'm home, he announced to his mother and looked at her and Katsuki's mother. Aunt Mitsuki? Mitsuki, Izuku-chan, with her natural cheerfulness, she went to squeeze the boy in a hug, and anticipating this, the little cat came out of his owner's jacket and went straight to the couch to sleep comfortably. Izuku, what are you doing here? He spoke as best he could. Mitsuki, Inko invited me to spend some time, and I really needed it. She let the boy go, and he started breathing normally. Katsuki got punished, so when he came back, he was very irritating. We argued, and well, she sighed. It's really difficult to deal with him. Izuku, I understand perfectly. The woman gave him another hug before going to where her friend was. Inko, rough day? His mother knew him well enough to see beyond his fake smile. Izuku, you have no idea. He sat down tiredly on a chair. Inko, well, good thing I made your favorite. The freckled boy looked at her as she brought the plate. Katsudon. Izuku, Mom, he hugged the green-haired woman, who welcomed the affection. Inko, don't think too much, my little one. The freckled boy nodded. Now eat while Mitsuki and I bring ours. Izuku, sure. He took a bite and instantly relaxed. By the way, Aunt Mitsuki, what did your son do this time? Mitsuki, it seems he's taken to harassing his classmates now. As if her son needed that, and she was very disappointed about it. At this rate, he'll be out of UA in less than a week. Inko, then it's his fault, Mitsuki. You don't have to stress about it. You did your best to raise him. The blonde woman shook her head. Mitsuki, I could have done more to prevent him from ending up like this. That was the only thing that bothered her. But in any case, he's my son, and I love him, even if he's a rabid dog. The Midoriya family started laughing at how they referred to the boy. He slept better after that. Those precious hours with his mother were what completed his day. He had to think of a good gift for being such a good mother. The next day arrived, and as usual, The first one to be served was Izawa, who came for coffee and to play with Gietta, who liked to play in the hero's scarf. Then came the early rising ladies who wanted something to keep them warm in the cold. After that, Kyoka arrived, looking sleepy, followed by Kendo, who was quite energetic. However, this time there was a variation. Izuku, welcome to the heroic mouse, Uraka-san. This time, the first to arrive was the sleepy brunette. Ochako, good morning, Midoriya-san, she yawned before sitting in front of the green-haired boy. Hello, Gietta. The cat jumped onto the girl's thighs and settled down for a nap. Izuku, do you want something to wake you up? The girl nodded with her head buried in her arms, not being much of a morning person. Coming right up. He went into the kitchen, leaving the girl with some relaxing music and a cat on her lap. Ochako, I think I could get used to this, she murmured to Gietta, who was sniffing at her. She noticed something on the counter that wasn't the menu. What's this? She picked up the paper and read it. Izuku, here you go. The girl didn't seem to react. Is something wrong? Ochako, hey, Midoriya-san, she became somewhat tense. Do you need someone to help you here? Izuku, yes, it's been challenging because no one wants to work for less than the minimum wage for just half a day. They want the minimum pay, but I can't afford it. He explained to the girl, who remained somewhat static. Ochako, how much are you offering? This might be the opportunity she needed. Izuku, around 10,000 yen. Why? The girl didn't hesitate as she put the paper in front of the boy. Ochako, please let me be your employee, she almost shouted, surprising both the green-haired boy and the cat, who ran off in surprise. Izuku, huh? The girl looked very excited. Don't you have a lot to do with you, eh? Ochako, I can manage, really. Please, I want the job. She looked at the green-haired boy very seriously. Izuku, why are you so insistent? You could get a better job that suits you. The girl shook her head. Ochako, this is a good place, and you're the only one crazy enough to accept a girl with not much experience. The green-haired boy felt a bit attacked, but she was right. It's good money, and I want to send something to my parents, so please, Midoriya-san, it would be really good for me. She pleaded with the green-haired boy, who let out a sigh. Izuku, all right. The girl smiled, completely overjoyed. I'll explain everything about what to do, and of course, I'll teach you how to prepare everything. But for now, it's best if you start as a waitress, so, the boy didn't finish speaking when the brunette pulled him into a hug. Ochako, thank you so much, Midoriya-san, she didn't realize where the boy's head ended up. Kyoka, God, if you're looking for something like that, Uraka, you'd better get a hotel. The girl reacted and noticed that she had the boy's head between her breasts. Ochako, sorry. She pulled away from the boy, who turned as red as a strawberry. Izuku, no problem, he tried to calm down as best he could. Kyoka, she started laughing at her friend, who pouted in annoyance. Ochako, don't pop up like that, Kyoka-san. You scared me, the dark-haired girl sat next to her blushing friend. Kyoka, yeah, sure, she fixed her gaze on the green-haired boy, who seemed embarrassed again. Izuku, I'm glad to have Uraka-san on board. He came to his senses again. Do you want a coffee? The dark-haired girl nodded, so the freckled boy went to prepare it. Kyoka, congratulations to you too, Uraka. You got a good job. Her friend was still upset. And why are you making that face now? Ochako, I was embarrassed, the brunette let out a laugh. Don't laugh, it wasn't fun. Kyoka, it's impossible to ignore how you buried Izuku in your mountains without any concern. You really opened up to your boss. The girl blushed again. Ochako, it was just the excitement of the moment. And you'd probably do something similar if you were very excited, she retorted to her friend, who had a smile on her face. Kyoka, we could try that. If I'm very cheerful and Izuku is nearby, we'll see where his face ends up. Even though I don't have much to offer, and that's why I got depressed. The girl was in denial about that. Ochako, come on, Kyoka-san, don't be in a bad mood. She rubbed her back soothingly. Kyoka, I can't do that, she was in denial. Ochako, with a lot or a little, you would still manage to embarrass Midoriya-san. So cheer up. You have a lot to offer, and not everything in life is about breasts. The brunette nodded, feeling a little better. Kyoka, at least my back doesn't hurt, something to be thankful for. Izuku, here's your coffee. He placed the drink in front of the girl. Does your back hurt? Kyoka, leave it, Izuku. It's nothing, she smiled at the boy, who who seemed confused by his friend's reaction. The brown-haired girl's request might have surprised him a little, but he finally had an employee, and that was reason enough to stay happy all morning. Since both friends had left, all he could think about was adapting the job for the brown-haired girl. For now, she just needed to be the waitress while he focused on the kitchen. After closing, they would clean up and give her Sundays off, but he needed to think that over. "Oh Chako, Midoriya-san," the girl quickly arrived after the last bell to leave. "Izuku, Uraka-san, calm down," the girl smiled somewhat embarrassed. The freckled one was attending to a couple of customers entertained by Gietta. "I'll be with you in a second." He approached the girl and guided her to the bar. "Go to the kitchen, your uniform is there. There's an employee bathroom nearby for you to change, and please start by cleaning the tables." The girl nodded. "Oh Chako, understood." She was very excited to work. "Kyoka, Uraka, you should wait." The purple-haired girl arrived tired. She watched as the girl went through the kitchen door and then turned to look at the freckled one, who just smiled. "What did you put her to do?" "Izuku, since she doesn't know anything about what I do, for now, she'll clean and take orders from customers." The purple-haired girl smiled. "Kyoka, just don't work her to death," she teased her friend, who sighed. "Izuku, you're not funny, Kyoka-san." He left through the kitchen door as well. "Kyoka, of course, I'm funny," she muttered with a pout, "and it's fun to tease you." The new waitress was well received among the most frequent customers, especially those who knew how hard the freckled one worked to achieve such good results. Uraka's kindness made it possible to serve everyone more efficiently. Kyoka stayed to watch how her friend worked and was always ready to help with whatever she needed. There was some confusion between orders and the occasional clumsy step, which could happen to anyone, but fortunately, she didn't have to intervene. She finished the tasks they had assigned and didn't have time to chat with her friend until it was 5 p.m., the time when things relaxed too. "Oh Chako, my feet hurt." She sat next to the purple-haired girl, who patted her head to lift her spirits. "It's amazing that Midoriya-san does this every day." "Kyoka, yes, that's Izuku, super hardworking and extremely strong." The freckled one just smiled while continuing to clean the floor. "By the way, how did you make the uniform so quickly?" "Izuku, oh, I have a few uniforms." Knowing that I would need help sooner or later, they fell into a rather tense silence until he spoke again. "But I heard that you went to a facility that prepares you for natural disasters?" 11. "Oh Chako, yes, it was super fun. They gave us a brief tour, and we met 13, that was what excited her the most, meeting one of her favorite heroes." 2. "Kyoka, besides that, Bakugo, the idiot, got lost when he didn't want to follow us anymore, and they had to pull him out of the simulation pool because apparently, his grenades are too heavy for that action." The freckled one burst into laughter just imagining it. "Oh Chako, fortunately, both Shiozaki-san and Tsuyu-chan were present and could get him out quickly." It was a somewhat funny situation with the blonde being held by a frog's tongue, which was in turn held by vines. "Kyoka, they should have left him soaking a little longer to see if that would cool his temper." She spoke with annoyance. "Izuku, I doubt that will happen. It was a shared wish, to be honest." Bakugo was too irritable, and any water container he put his head into would evaporate instantly if he got into it, he recounted with some stress. "Kyoka, you seem to know him quite well, Izuku." She looked analytically at her friend, who tensed. "Izuku, you could say," he tried to avoid the topic at all costs. "Oh Chako, Midoriya-san, we're friends. You can talk to us." The freckled one finished cleaning and approached the girls. "Izuku, it's nothing very relevant, believe me." "Kyoka, well," the freckled one put away the cleaning supplies and approached the girl. "Izuku, alright, Uraka-san, now I'm going to teach you some things I know so you won't come here lost later." The girl nodded. "Do you want something else, Kyoka-san?" "Kyoka, not today. I've said everything I needed to. See you tomorrow." The girl left, tired from the day. "Oh Chako, this looks very different when there are no people." The place was completely empty except for Gietta, who slept on a sofa near the window. "Izuku, come on, Uraka-san, we don't have all the time in the world, and you have other things to do besides this job." The girl hurried to follow her boss. It wasn't that difficult. She didn't have to learn the names of the desserts or drinks because all the menus had both a photo of the dessert and a brief description of what it contained. For preparing desserts, she wouldn't take on that task for now. She would keep her in training until she could make one decently. So, mainly, she would be receiving customers, working as a waitress, and cleaning the tables before getting into the cooking. As for making coffee, she could do that too. The freckled one liked the coffee she prepared, and it didn't take her long, so she could also do that if he was too busy. "Izuku, tell me, Uraka-san, do you live far from here?" They had finally finished their explanations, and they were already closing up. "Oh, Chaco, somewhat far. I have to take the train to UA," she replied to her boss. "Izuku, in that case, I'll accompany you to the station." He closed the place, and with Gietta in his jacket, they set off with a fixed destination. "How was the experience for you?" "Oh, Chaco, it's harder than I thought, but I can handle it," she assured the boy. "Izuku, try not to overexert yourself, not with this job or at UA, okay?" The girl nodded. "Oh, Chaco, I think the first thing I'll do when I get there is sleep." She felt extremely tired after such a day. "Izuku, I'll make dinner for my mom first." "It's my turn," and now that I think about it, he had no idea what to make. "Oh, Chaco, you don't know what to prepare?" The freckled one smiled tensely. "You'll think of something." He wasn't at ease until the girl got on the train, which wasn't very crowded due to the hour. After that, he went home at a calm pace. He didn't know what to prepare, but it had to be something extremely delicious for his mom. "Izuku, I'm home." He didn't make a sound, so he left his shoes on the side and walked inside the house, finding his mom watching TV. Izuku, you're here." She hadn't even noticed him because she was watching something. "Izuku, what are you watching?" He sat next to his mother, finding her watching a game show. "Seriously? Plus." Shh, dear, they're about to lose a lot of money." That was what mattered most to her. "How was your day?" "Izuku, I have an employee," he revealed, leaving his mother astonished. Congratulations, my son. I hope you'll be a good boss and not overwork whoever you hired." The freckled one shook his head. Izuku, I'll be the best boss I can be." It wasn't the best time to be Bakugo, nor the best week. In fact, Bakugo Katsuki was getting completely battered by life in a way he could consider criminal, and it had only been a few days since he started studying at UA. He didn't know how or why, but he was in quite a bit of trouble with the academy. It all began on the second day. Ignoring the first, which had been the best in almost every aspect, there was no way he could beat an infinite score. He thought he would establish himself as the best and begin his rise to stardom. But on the second day, he was sent to the principal's office and punished all afternoon just for winning decisively against his female classmates. All he had to do was defend the bomb, but he was too angry about the random selection by All Might. He wasn't a villain and didn't want to act like one, but he reluctantly resigned and played the role of a villain, especially with that guy with glasses who carried a stick. He got stuck in those damn vines that held him in the air, thanks to the low gravity of that round face. Of course, he unleashed a stronger explosion that destroyed a large part of the place. His teacher said he lost, but for Bakugo, it was a clear victory. In any case, he accepted the punishment and stayed to clean the room, which reminded him of Deku. He hadn't seen him since the sludge incident. He had been so pathetic after risking his pathetic life to save him that he couldn't think straight afterward. He had planned to confront him, but the cowardly one left school after that, and no one knew what happened to him. There were rumors that he had an accident and was permanently hospitalized, that he was actually the one involved in the sludge villain incident, and because of the damage, he couldn't return. Some even went too far, saying he had joined a mafia and was now involved in criminal activities in the underworld. However, after Deku's escape, he couldn't consider it anything else. The classroom felt very different. There were more people to annoy, and the teachers did the minimum to restrain him, like cleaning the room at that moment. He felt nostalgic for a few seconds. He hoped the incident on the second day would be behind him, but then came the third day, which changed his thoughts. It was a simple class president election. He had never been one, and he actually thought that, given that he would be much more important than All Might in the future, he would start leading the band of losers he had as classmates right away. He expected that they would think the same after seeing so much power over the past 2 days. However, none of his classmates had any confidence in him. He appealed, more like fought and threatened the teacher, to redo the election so his classmates would think carefully about their choice, but then the girl with ears knocked him out with a blow to the neck. He tried to get that president, in his opinion, usurper, to give him the position on his terms, but, of course, she had a damn bodyguard who left him on the ground. When he tried to confront her directly, a teacher appeared and took him to the principal, the rat. He was punished again for harassment, which was curious because he had a worse classmate in that regard, so he waited for his teacher to give him his punishment and then leave. He didn't know that Aizawa was busy dealing with a villain. He waited until 5 p.m. to receive another scolding and a warning that if he continued like this, he would be expelled. He didn't pay much attention, thinking it was a joke. Obviously, they wanted Bakugo Katsuki to bow down to authority, but they would never tame this beast. He would continue to be himself to the fullest. That's why he ended up in front of the principal again, soaked from head to toe and completely irritated by what had happened at the USJ. Nezu, without a doubt, young Bakugo is one of the most troublesome students I've had in the institution. He began this speech reluctantly. He's one of the few who have stood in front of me on 3 occasions within 3 days of being here. Katsuki, this time, it wasn't my fault. He tried to get out of this situation unsuccessfully. Nezu, oh, it was your fault, young Bakugo. On the first day, you excused yourself by the need to win despite the clear limitations for winning. Yesterday, it was because you wanted a fair competition that you didn't think it was. I remind you that the class president is chosen by democracy, and today, you disobeyed your teachers and ended up in the USJ pool. The blonde had no defense in a matter of seconds. Rules are not meant to be broken, young Bakugo, they are meant to protect you. Katsuki, I just wanted to see the place, another vague excuse. Nezu, if that were the case, you would have waited to go through the entire place or simply left against the orders of your supervising teacher. The blonde froze. Young Bakugo, I understand that you are someone extremely independent, that you can't stand someone giving you orders. But there are times when you can't be so free. The blonde rolled his eyes, and this conversation made him angry. Unfortunately, you have accumulated 3 punishments, and as such, I am obliged to be stricter with you. That made him tense. It wouldn't make sense to suspend him, especially with the sports festival so close, and that week is meant for training. Katsuki, what now? He didn't think this would happen. Nezu, a simple punishment is not enough for you, but since an important date for the academy is approaching, I can't simply suspend you. Once again, luck was on the side of the blonde, so, on that date, you will be penalized in a special way. You'll see. He didn't care, he was getting away with it. Katsuki, is that all? The director nodded. Okay. He left to change, leaving the director alone. Nezu, he's a boy with a lot of potential and a lot of ego. He sighed, somewhat disappointed in the young man. I hope that deducting points from him in any round of the festival and denying his speech at the opening will be enough to make him reconsider. Although considering everything he has done, I doubt it, he thought out loud to himself. The blonde left there early for the first time. He had no plans for the afternoon, and he would probably spend it in his room honing his fighting skills if it weren't for that red-haired guy who practically dragged him with him to who knows where. Katsuki, where the hell are we going? They hadn't even spent 5 seconds before he convinced him to go as friends. Kirishima, I want a drink from a nearby place, and, of course, he was offering him a drink he didn't even want. I haven't had one since the entrance exam, and I want it. His excitement was extremely stressful for the blonde. Here it is, the guy at the entrance didn't please him at all. Katsuki, no, not in a million years. He was about to leave, but the guy grabbed his sleeve. Kirishima, you haven't even given it a chance. Come on, wait here while I get the drinks. The blonde clicked his tongue but reluctantly agreed. Fine. I'll be right back. He entered the establishment, leaving him alone. Katsuki, stupid, spiky hair. And damn thirst, he cursed under his breath to avoid causing a scene. Kirishima, here they are. It took him at least 15 minutes to go and come back. The blonde was very angry. It was hard for them to serve me. The place is very crowded. Katsuki, just give me the stupid drink and let's go. He snatched the drink from his hand and took a sip. Kirishima, and? How is it? He had chosen something acidic for him, and honestly. Katsuki, it's not bad, that's all he said before they continued on their way. The weekend had finally arrived, and with the arrival of the dreaded Friday, the cafe was usually filled with students looking to start their weekend with some peace and a good cup of coffee. Of course, the students of Class 1A were no exception, as they were planning to spend time with their new friends they had made during the week. The green-haired boy had everything well planned for these days, as it wasn't his first busy weekend, but this time there was an extra employee on board, not to mention the cat. Ochako, Midoriya-san, the first to enter was the brown-haired girl with infectious joy. Izuku, Uraka-san, we have a lot of work to do today, the girl nodded, rushing to put on her uniform. Kyoka, hi Izuku. Today, we brought some new customers. She went directly to her seat next to the cat at the counter, which was stretching. Hello, Gietta, she petted the cat, which began to purr. Momo, Midoriya-san, the black-haired girl entered radiantly and took her place on the right side of the purple-haired girl. Izuku, hi Yaoyorozu-san, hi Kyoka-san, you both seem very happy. He placed a strawberry shake in front of the purple-haired girl. Would you like some tea? Momo, please, the freckled boy nodded and went to prepare some tea. Mina, wow, this place is your secret spot, huh? Of course, the purple-haired girl would invite more people to get to know the place. Kyoka, more than a secret, It's the perfect place to hang out, she responded to the pink-haired girl, who had joined her friends. Where are Toru, Suyu-chan, and Ibara? Mina, Toru said she had things to do at home, Suyu-chan has to take care of her brothers, and Ibara is busy, too. Those were the explanations they had been given. Kyoka, well, another day, perhaps, she continued to enjoy her shake. And the guys? Mina, well, before she could say anything, the door opened, revealing 4 guys. Kaminari, wow, this place is impressive. It wasn't bad at all, with its peaceful atmosphere, relaxing music, and exquisite scent. Sero, what's that smell? He was immediately captivated by the place. Tokoyami, undoubtedly the perfect place to think and stay calm, he expressed his opinion. Kaminari, Mina, you should have waited for us, the pink-haired girl smiled nervously. By the way, we brought Todoroki because he had nothing to do, the two-toned boy was simply admiring the place in silence. Mina, come here, there's still room, the guys joined the pink-haired girl. Izuku, here you go with your tea, Yaoyorozu-san, he placed the cup in front of the girl, who was smiling at her friends. Do you want anything else? Momo, not at the moment, thank you, Midoriya-san, the freckled boy nodded. By the way, they're the ones Jiro-san was talking about, the green-haired boy looked at the group chatting among themselves. Izuku, in that case, it's best to serve them, he glanced to the side and approached them. Welcome to Heroic Mouse, he got the group's attention. Mina, well, she instantly found the waiter boy endearing. I'm Mina Ashito. Are you the one Jiro-chan and Uraka-chan have been talking so much about? The freckled boy tilted his head in confusion. Izuku, are they talking about me? The purple-haired girl seemed a bit nervous as she petted the cat by her side. I hope it's all good things. Kaminari, they say you're a master of drinks, the freckled boy looked at his seated friend who was trying to hide her embarrassment. Sero, yeah, and how warmly you treat everyone, the black-haired boy continued. Tokoyami, like you're an unimaginably pure and incorruptible being, the bird-like boy added. Kyoka, the next person who says something will lose an eye, she threatened with her earphone jack, letting the cat escape, and it walked along the counter. Mina, a kitty, she picked up the feline and started petting it. You're so cute. Izuku, this is Gietta, the somewhat bewildered cat looked at the friendly girl and began sniffing the air. Mina, you're such a sweet little thing, the cat lifted a paw and put it on her nose. Aw, hello to you too, cutie, she spoke affectionately. Meow, the girl placed the cat back on the counter, thinking it had had enough of her, but she didn't expect the cat to jump onto her lap and settle into sleep. Mina, aw, you're such a sweetheart, she melted with tenderness. Izuku, I had a feeling this would happen, he sighed at the antics of his pet and continued with his work. What can I get you? The menu is in front of you. Mina, I'll have a midnight shake with a racerflan, you couldn't resist something related to your teacher. Kaminari, give me, he looked at the desserts to decide what to order. All Might cookies along with a Titan cupcake, it sounded too amazing not to order. Izuku, what about you two? The black-haired and the bird-like boy looked at the menu, not sure what to say. Sero, a regular coffee is fine with a stuffed bun, something simple and fitting for the afternoon. Tokoyami, the darkest tea you have, and hawk's wings, that sounded incredibly delicious. Izuku, understood, he wrote it down on his notepad and then looked at the last one missing. What would you like? The two-tone boy was intensely focused on the television, watching a cartoon. Shoto, do you serve soba? He didn't even look at the menu, having been brought there against his will. The only reason he hadn't left was because he felt comfortable in the chair. Izuku, I'm sorry, but we don't serve soba, he could already tell he had a complicated customer. Shoto, it's a shame, he could really use his beloved, I want Endeavor cookies, he pointed at the poorly made figurine of his father and couldn't contain himself. Izuku, of course, the speed with which his expression changed was quite impressive. I'll be back in a moment, he went to the kitchen, leaving them to chat. Mina, this place is amazing, I understand now why you like it so much, right, Gietta? The cat let itself be petted contentedly. Sero, but how did you find this place? The purple-haired girl put her drink down to respond. Kyoka, my mom brought me here, then I brought Uraka and Yamomo, and the rest is history, she continued drinking as they waited. Kaminari, wow, he looked at the cat and couldn't resist. Come here, kitty, he reached his hand out to the feline, and it immediately bit him. Ouch. Sero, I don't think he likes you, he teased the blonde, who looked at the cat with suspicion on the pink-haired girl's lap. Tokoyami, I don't think he's comfortable with your presence, the blonde got a little dejected. Izuku, sorry for the wait. The freckled boy came out of the kitchen with his employee, who went to do her job. Sero/Kaminari, Uraka? The girl only smiled at them before attending to a customer. Izuku, alright, your desserts and drinks are served. With great skill, he placed the dishes in front of the guys, and Mina was immediately impressed with her dessert. And these cookies are for you. He placed the Endeavor cookies in front of the two-toned boy, who took one, admiring it. Shoto, awesome, they were nothing like his father's, but somehow, it felt like him. Meow, the cat got up to smell the cookies and moved between the guy's legs until it reached the two-toned boy, sniffing the cookie. Shoto, do you want one? The cat continued to sniff. Sero, is it safe to give him a cookie? He took a bite of his bread and melted at the taste. Dude, this is amazing. Shoto, can I give him a cookie? He asked the freckled boy, who was already serving someone else. Izuku, he doesn't want the cookie, he likes the icing, he clarified to the two-toned boy, who brought the cookie closer to the cat, which started licking the flames of his father. Shoto, Natsuo has to see this. He took a quick picture for the memory and sent it to his brother with a simple comment, Endeavor's worst enemy is a kitty. He spent a nice afternoon, that couldn't be denied. It was the first time he felt like a regular person with normal problems that could be easily solved if he wished. For a few hours, he lived as a simple high school boy, chatting with friends in a cafe about trivial things, with bad jokes that somehow became funny. It wasn't a masterpiece designed to outdo someone his father couldn't, and for whom he became obsessed beyond the normal bounds of reason. He ceased to be the perfect Todoroki Shoto to just be Shoto. A guy who liked soba and sweets, with a scar on his face, whose biggest concern was not eating too much to enjoy dinner. His friends included a talking adhesive tape, an emo crow, a poorly made Pikachu, a space alien from the Alien Saga that was more like a space puppy than an alien, a British royal princess, Garfield with included headphones, and how could we forget the Kirby mochi that defied gravity? A very strange group that somehow made him feel good for the little time he got to know them. Fuyumi, so, you found friends? His sister dragged him to the kitchen to chat about his classmates, and he didn't mind. Shoto, you could say. He wasn't sure if he should consider them friends, but he felt comfortable and trusted with them. Fuyumi, I'm glad to hear that, Shoto. She smiled at her brother, who helped her with the dishes. He slept much better that night. He felt like just a normal guy, and since his father spent his time in the agency's office, he didn't have to see his face. So, the night improved exponentially. He slept better than he had in a long time, and the next morning, he didn't think twice before going to that cafe. He enjoyed seeing his father reduced to a cookie and sharing his food with the cat, which somehow made him forget everything during those precious hours. He wanted that again. Ochako, welcome to the heroic mouse. She was serving customers while her boss was making the noisiest drink in the world. Shoto, Uraka, shouldn't you be resting? It's Saturday. The girl smiled innocently. Ochako, actually, this is the day with the most work, and to be honest, it's really nice here, you know? The two-colored boy sat at the counter, looking for the cat. What can I get you? Shoto, yesterday, I got curious about the cupcakes. It was something he didn't care much about, but when Kaminari started offering his cupcakes, he tried one, and since then, he wanted to try them. Ochako, do you want Titan cupcakes, All Might, Kitty, or Kamui cakes? The two-colored boy looked at the menu, not sure what to choose. Shoto, Kitty? The brown-haired girl nodded with a smile. Ochako, give me a minute, and I'll bring them. She went to the kitchen, during which her boss, a freckled guy, came out with a drink that honestly surprised him. He placed it on a somewhat crowded table and had a brief exchange of words before serving someone else. Izuku, oh, Kyoka-san's friend. He recognized the two-colored boy, who just raised his hand and greeted. Ochako, here are the cupcakes, Todoroki-kun. She placed a plate with 4 cupcakes on the counter, each with a cute cat face made of icing with 2 cookies as ears. Shoto, thanks. He took one, hesitating to eat it. Izuku, is something wrong? The green-haired boy smiled, thinking he knew the reason for his hesitation. Shoto, it's too adorable, he explained, and the freckled guy chuckled. Izuku, believe me, no cat was harmed in making it, and it's actually safe for feline consumption, approved by our expert. He looked up at the two-colored boy, and the cat was sleeping near a lamp. Shoto, so, that's where he was. He took a bite of the dessert while looking at the cupcake. Izuku, enjoy your cupcakes, and don't forget that if you need anything, you can call me or Uraka-san. The two-colored boy nodded, and the freckled guy continued with his work, as did the brown-haired girl. When he arrived in the morning, the cafe wasn't very crowded, and he could enjoy a pleasant silence. He could think clearly and, above all, he relished the atmosphere. He didn't order much beyond the cupcakes, a milkshake, and a crepe that reminded him of a hero he had seen somewhere. It had a fruit smile and banana-shaped eyes covered with a chocolate mask. It was fat gum, in case anyone is wondering. At some point, the cat came down and slept on his left side, providing excellent company. Shoto expected the freckled guy to kick him out of the place for just being there without ordering anything, but no. Whenever the guy had the chance, he asked if everything was okay and if he wanted something to avoid getting too bored. The company was incredibly pleasant. As the afternoon arrived, he would have to go home soon. Most likely, Fuyumi and Natsuo were already doing something fun, like playing video games or watching a movie, and he genuinely didn't want to miss it. Shoto, maybe I should bring them something. He contemplated the menu. Izuku, are you looking for something to take with you? The freckled guy finally had a break. Shoto, yes, for my older siblings. I'm just not sure what they might like. He continued to browse the menu. Someone in the cafe suddenly exclaimed, "Look, it's Endeavor," pointing at the television. It seemed that the number 2 hero was in a battle against a villain. Shoto, TSK. Just seeing him soured his day. Izuku, is something wrong? Obviously, the green-haired guy noticed the change in the 2-colored boy. Shoto, it's nothing, just that. He glanced at the television, feeling anger once again. Izuku, I see. You don't like Endeavor? Shoto had to ponder if he should tell the friendly guy. Shoto, it's complicated. He wasn't sure if he should reveal everything, but he felt comfortable talking to this stranger. Izuku, is he a family member of yours? The 2-colored boy nodded. Izuku, I'm sorry to hear that. It must not be easy having him around. The green-haired guy seemed to understand that it was related to Endeavor. Shoto, don't you like him? The freckled guy thought for a moment before responding. Izuku, it's not that I don't like him. It's more like I don't understand him very well. He has a powerful quirk, is attractive in a way, and is actually a quite necessary hero today. But he always looks very serious, which scares away villains but also regular people. I can't imagine what it would be like if he were my family, like an uncle or father. It would be intimidating. Shoto, you have no idea. The 2-colored boy said with a hint of a smile. Izuku, you two have some issues, right? His hero senses were tingling, sensing someone so angry. Shoto, he did something that really upset me. He practically forced me to be a hero, and He looked at his left hand with some intensity. Izuku, do you want to be a hero, Todoroki-san? It was a question the green-haired guy asked out loud, and he only got one response. Shoto, yes. That's what I was created for. He replied without hesitation. Izuku, but is it really what you want? The question left the 2-colored boy deep in thought. Shoto, I've always been on this path. I was designed to be a hero. The freckled guy shook his head with a faint smile. Izuku, don't talk like you're a machine, Todoroki-san. You're a human, and it's okay not to want to be what our parents want. They don't determine our paths. He tried to encourage the boy. Shoto, didn't your father want you to have a cafe? The freckled guy chuckled. Izuku, my father is quite liberal in that regard. He worked so hard that one day, he grabbed my shoulders, sat me in front of him, and said, Izuku, this life is too short to work so much. Find your own path, the one that makes you happy. It doesn't matter if your family disagrees. If you're happy, you can achieve anything. He imitated his father as best as he could to convey his point. Shoto, so, you mean you went against his wishes? The freckled guy thought for a second. Izuku, it's more like I approach things differently. Are you happy doing what you're doing, going to hero classes and working to become one? The 2-colored boy thought for a moment and nodded. Shoto, for the first time in my life, people don't seem to worship me because of my last name, and the teachers aren't idiots trying to manipulate me. I'm happy. I've been clear about that. Izuku, so why the dispute with Endeavor? The guy asked, and the 2-colored boy lowered his gaze. Is it because of you that you get upset? Shoto, he hurt my mom, and, well. He unconsciously touched his scar, so the freckled guy didn't need more explanation. Izuku, so he did something bad to her, and she did something to you because of it? He needed a bit more explanation. Shoto, my mom couldn't stand living with Endeavor. Her parents gave her to a quirk marriage to produce someone who could surpass All Might, and Here I am. He explained without much enthusiasm, not quite sure why he was telling all this to a stranger. Izuku, that's really horrible, but please don't blame yourself so harshly. Despite coming because of an absurd arrangement, you're an amazing human being, and no one can take that away from you. He tried to uplift the boy. Shoto, I don't see it that way. Because of me, my mom went crazy and gave me this scar because she saw him in me. The freckled guy let out a sigh. Izuku, so, it wasn't your fault, it was Endeavor's. That's what it comes down to. The two-colored boy nodded. Izuku, you don't have to become like All Might, you know, or even surpass him. The statement sounded almost blasphemous to Shoto. Shoto, you mean I can be my version of a hero? The freckled guy nodded. Izuku, be recognized for something that's you, beyond being the son of number 2. Become yourself, okay? He smiled kindly at the boy, who seemed amazed by these new possibilities. You are you, and Endeavor is himself. Even if you share his genes, you're a completely different person from your father. The boy looked at the green-haired guy, feeling a tightness in his chest, and his mother's words echoed in his head. He managed to smile as a small flame escaped from his scar. The week flew by with all the training and work. Fortunately, her boss was quite compassionate and always had a smoothie waiting for her after her intense morning training sessions, which surprisingly helped soothe her sore muscles. What she didn't expect was to see Kyoka looking completely exhausted half the time she arrived, and only by Thursday did she muster the courage to ask about it. Oh Chako, Kyoka-san, can I ask you something? The girl raised her head, internally debating whether to respond. She was extremely exhausted. Kyoka, is there something on your mind? In the end, she didn't have the strength to refuse much. Oh Chako, why do you seem so tired this week? The girl put her face back on the table she was leaning on. Kyoka, it's that idiot of a boss of yours. He gets too excited in the morning and leaves me completely exhausted. She explained without any filters, causing the brown-haired girl to become embarrassed. Oh Chako, what do you mean that you and Midoriya-san? Her mind immediately went to her boss and her friend doing something more than just chatting in the privacy of a room. Izuku, hey, don't explain it like that, it can be misinterpreted. The green-haired boy chuckled, not even bothering to listen to the shocked girl. It's not what you're thinking, Uraka-san. The Miss Laziness here asked me for help in training, and since I think she's quite serious, it's put her in a bad mood. He set a smoothie in front of her, which she took and began to drink. Oh Chako, are you a trainer too? She asked the freckled guy, who became slightly embarrassed. Izuku, not at all, but I've spent a lot of time with trainers, so I can be good at helping with training, nothing more. He replied to the girl who looked at him in amazement. Kyoka, believe me, he'll make you sweat more than you can imagine. She laid back in her chair, sighing from exhaustion. Izuku, but it's helping you. Now you can run more kilometers for a much longer time, and your quirk is getting stronger. Not to mention that it's also enhancing your quirk. The girl continued drinking her smoothie. Kyoka, throwing water balloons at me while I'm blindfolded isn't fun. The boy smiled. Izuku, don't complain, we've enhanced your auditory capabilities. You'll be well prepared for the sports festival. He assured the girl, who didn't hesitate to ask the boy for something. Kyoka, hey, Izuku. Do you know how to beat Bakugo? Her friend looked at her in surprise, and the freckled guy sighed. Oh Chako, what's that about, Kyoka-san? She hadn't thought about it since she was so focused on getting stronger in a week. Izuku, what's the matter with him? Do you want to beat him, or do you want to help us? But, honestly, your opinion would be helpful. The guy was calm, and the Pellamore Ata looked into his emerald eyes. Kyoka, you've seen the festival, Uraka. The last section is always an individual combat, and it's obvious that the explosive Chihuahua will make it there, so we'll have to face him sooner or later. She looked directly into the green-haired boy's eyes, who was calm. I don't know if you have a problem with him or if you want to help us, but we would really appreciate your input. Oh Chako, Kyoka-san. She hadn't thought about it that much because she was so focused on getting stronger within a week. Izuku, I don't miss anything, do I? He joked a bit with the serious Pellamore Ata. The only thing I can tell you is that it always starts with a right hook. He's confident and always attacks mercilessly, no matter who his opponent is. Stay alert because, even though it doesn't seem like it, he's good at reading situations and adapting to his opponent. That was all he could say. But if you want more specific information. He went to the kitchen and returned with a battered notebook. Here's everything related to his quirk. He handed the book to the Pellamore Ata, who started flipping through it. Kyoka, are you saying this is not much? She felt somewhat overwhelmed and frightened by what she saw. Izuku, this is incredible. It even includes when he starts to get tired. It wasn't meant to be taken literally, but the limit of how many explosions he could endure was noted. Where did you get all this information? She looked at the boy who was somewhat tense. Izuku, I'd rather not talk about that now, to be honest. It still hurts, and I don't think I can explain it without breaking down. I'm sorry. He tried to convey his point without going into too much detail. Kyoka, is it very complicated? The freckled guy nodded. Izuku, it's just hard to talk about. I still hurt from it, and I don't think I can explain it without breaking down. I'm sorry. The boy looked a bit downcast. Kyoka, did you suffer that much? She was concerned about her friend, but he smiled faintly. Izuku, well, I don't think it's much, but anyone can do it. Both girls looked at the boy. Ochako, what do you mean it's not much? It's super duper amazing. She praised the boy, who became a bit nervous. Kyoka, yeah, really, not just anyone can do this. I can't do it, mainly because I'm much better with sound and writing music scores than drawing. The girl was genuinely impressed. Izuku, thank you, girls. He smiled at them. Use this information to fight against Bakugo. Kyoka, oh, believe me, we'll make him cry like a baby. She smiled a bit menacingly, which made her friend move away a little. Ochako, you really don't like him that much. She didn't like him either, but she wasn't this furious about it. Izuku, I wish you good luck, but at the moment, Uraka-san, get to work. The girl nodded reluctantly, she was still somewhat tired. Kyoka, you're really a tyrant at times, she teased him, but the girl soon became serious. Izuku, between tyrants, we understand each other. The girl looked at him indignantly. Kyoka, wait, before you go to work, are you coming to the festival? The boy contemplated it while his friend became excited. Izuku, I'm not sure, I want to focus on watching the festival, and if I don't have your help, it might be crowded and surpass me by a lot. Things were not looking good. Kyoka, in that case, why don't you come to support us? The girl had learned about this not too long ago. Izuku, I don't think I can, the tickets are already sold out, and I don't have any. The brown-haired girl's excitement quickly waned. Kyoka, you can enter if you're with a student. She explained what she had recently discovered. Izuku, I guess that applies to family members, but I'm an only child, and I have no family at UA. The Pellamorata showed him a very adorable smile, but he didn't know what she had done. Izuku, you didn't do it, did you? The girl smiled back. Kyoka, me? Not at all, she continued to act very cute, even more than her usual self. Just for one day, you'll be part of my family. The boy sighed. Izuku, you didn't? The girl smiled even more. Kyoka, for one day, you'll be part of my family, and you'll enjoy watching us in action. You also deserve a break. The boy smiled back. Ochako, great. That's awesome. She jumped, eagerly looking forward to the day. On that day, we won't disappoint you, Midoriya-san. You'll see that we'll use your ideas to win. She assured the freckled boy, who felt overwhelmed by the girl's joy. Izuku, just try to have fun and not hurt yourselves too much, please, he said, feeling overwhelmed. Kyoka, I'm not promising anything. It's a competition, and they've already declared war on us, so we need to give it our all if we want to keep up, she said with enthusiasm, even though she didn't care much about it. She'd make the effort to see how much progress she'd made with the guidance of the green-haired boy.